What's going on, guys? This is Aaron from Departures Capital, and we're here with Kyle Floyd, CEO of VOX Royalty. It's a pleasure to have you back on in 2023. Kyle, how are you doing today?
Aaron, fantastic. We had an awesome 2022. Looking forward to 2023. So good to be with you again.
Yes, exactly. So let's start with a quick update on the company. Since we last spoke, what have you guys been up to?
Well, we've been up to a lot. So we just announced that we had record revenue for 2022 that exceeded our guidance. And so something that we were really excited to put out to the market. And that's really driven by that producing asset count growth. And then also alongside of that, we've had tremendous growth within our development stage assets as well. So last year I had 200,000 meters of drilling on our royalty linked projects. So to refresh the audience, we're a royalty company. So we're not a mining company. We don't have capital out the door to finance mines or to finance assets into production, nor are we exposed to any of the operating costs of mining companies. So we get a pure revenue interest right now from 7 operating mines around the world. And we expect that number to grow into potentially the double digits by the end of this year. So really an exciting 2022 for us, development stage growth, producing asset count growth, production, kind of quantity of production growth within what's already producing. So it's been a really productive year for us, and excited for what 2023 holds as well.
Yeah, you're very uniquely positioned in this market. So looking back at 2022, it was an extremely difficult year for many, yet VOX was able to achieve an extraordinary amount of progress, as you just mentioned. As we move into 2023, why is VOX, now a stronger company than before?
Well, Aaron, one thing I failed to mention is that we're also now paying a dividend. So when we look at 2022 milestones, we listed on the NASDAQ, we're now paying a dividend as well. And what we always said is when we built this company, we built it to be able to return capital to shareholders. And the dividend is part of that. We were obviously active on our share buyback program in 2022 and at some stage in 2021 as well. But as we kind of now jump into 2023, we're excited about the foundation of the business. The growing asset count in terms of what's in production, the very material developments within the development stage assets that we have, and then a lot of exploration assets that are moving far faster towards a development decision and production decision than when we bought those assets. So it's really kind of the full perspective on our portfolio. It's been an amazingly productive 2022. And I don't believe the market's really pricing that into where our company trades. We're trading at one of the lowest ends of the relative value curve in the royalty sector. I don't believe there's a good reason for that. And as you kind of fast forward to get into 2023, the opportunity that we have to kind of demonstrate the results that are happening within the portfolio are robust. And I think very, very value accretive for investors. So I think we're kind of right place, right time for investors out there.
The company recently uplisted to the NASDAQ, which is a big accomplishment in itself. So first off, congratulations. And, can you tell us how this benefited VOX as a business and what kind of opportunities is provided for you so far?
Well, Aaron, when I founded this business, it was always really to serve generalist investors that wanted exposure to commodities. One thing that we also haven't touched on is commodities are off to a red hot start in 2023. And that's hugely buoyant for our portfolio of royalties. We factor in backwardation in our portfolio in terms of how we price metal prices. So to get an environment where metal prices are increasing at the clip that they are is really profound. And as a royalty company, we were there to have a technical team on the front lines of our business, a proprietary advantage in terms of sourcing royalty opportunities that essentially could allow investors and allow, specifically the generalist investors to get exposure to commodities, and what we thought was the best asset class for exposure to commodities, which is third-party royalties. And then for us to be able to cherry pick the best value within that and bring that within a portfolio for investors all over the world. The NASDAQ is really, what I would say the foundations of allowing us to actually be in front of the investors that we're designed to serve. So you're not a mining engineer, you're not a geologist, but you want this exposure and you want to be able to count on a company to be doing the right work and producing the right kind of value and have the right team that's capable of doing so systematically and repeatedly. That's what VOX is. And so the NASDAQ now opened us up to what is the world's largest capital markets, the deepest pool of investors, and also a tremendous amount of notoriety that goes alongside of that. And ultimately what we believe is more liquidity and more demand for our stock. So it was a really exciting development for our team and for our business.
So VOX is a very unique business model with many moving pieces. I know, as you just mentioned, being a royalty streaming company. So what's the main focus this year for VOX?
Look, VOX is what we believe trading at the biggest discount in the market versus our peers in the royalty sector. We're trading at under net asset value or intrinsic value. We have growing revenues. We have a dividend that we've always said when we initiate a dividend, we believe that it'll be sustainable and something that's capable of growing. And so ultimately, what I think is going to happen this year is that valuation disconnect between us and our peers. I think we're going to close that. And that means that, our share price relative to where it is, if that happens, should be a very positive performer. So I'm excited about the market dynamics that we have for us. The fundamentals are great. We have 7 producing assets now. We expect that to increase to close to double digits as we exit 2023. And with so much robust growth happening within that development stage pipeline, that's called 2024, 2025, and 2026 production, we believe we offer investors, in our opinion, the best exposure to commodities. You've got current revenue growth, current producing asset count growth, tremendous development stage growth. And the key nuance in our business model is that we're not paying anything for that growth. We're not exposed to the higher cost structures that mining companies are facing to pull tons out of the ground or ounces out of the ground. So we're getting the benefit of higher prices without the cost effect of higher prices also affecting mining companies in terms of their cost structure. So I just think we're really, really uniquely positioned for investors to take advantage of what's good in the markets right now and leaving behind a lot of the risks and challenges that present in the market as well.
VOX truly is uniquely positioned in the market, I'd have to agree. So, what are some of the major catalysts investors should be looking out for this year from VOX?
Well, we'll come out later in first quarter with our formal results for calendar year 2022. So we're excited about that. In terms of fundamental catalysts, we are really excited about the producing asset count growth. So we've received word from the operators that we have, essentially 2 Western Australian gold assets that we expect to enter production this year. One's in construction in Mount Ida, one's hired a mining contractor in our Myrie deposit that's part of the Bulong operations for Black Cat Syndicate. So we're excited about those 2 likely coming online and generating revenue in 2023. And we have another 2 assets that, based on operator guidance, could also be in production this year. And then we have a really deep pipeline of accretive opportunities that we're always evaluating. So I think you'll continue to see margin expansion from VOX, revenue growth from VOX, hopefully a growing dividend that we can project out at some stage. So we are, I think, in that unique position that it's a growing business, it's trading at immense value, and the fundamentals for the business couldn't be stronger.
Lots to look forward to. So, as you said, the commodity markets have had a really hot start to 2023. Where do you think we go from here, and what are you excited about specifically when it comes to that market for this year?
Well, a hot commodity price environment is good both for the fundamentals and for the general external market factors that affect our business and ultimately our valuation as well. So from a fundamental perspective, that upwelling of metal prices is really compounding. And I guess I'll give a quick example of how that works. So if you have an asset that has, say, 1 million ounces of gold prices go up. What happens is a lot more mineable ounces come into the mine plan as they're able to lower the cutoff grade. So that means an asset that we forecasted only have 1 million ounces of production might now have 1.5 million ounces of production. And we're getting a royalty over all of that. So that would mean that the revenues for VOX just increased 50% beyond what we expected. And it might only take a 10 or 20% increase in the metal price to bring that kind of tonnage or those kind of ounces now into the mine plan. That then also encourages further drilling, further exploration, and hopefully exploration success, and then even potentially, basically production rate increases that coincide with that. So it becomes this compounding factor in the favor of good royalties and good royalty companies. So that's something that hasn't been, well addressed in the market that I think it's good for investors to understand. And then externally, what's happening is that there's just more interest in commodity linked businesses that have exposure to commodities. And so we're starting to see that play out now as well. So commodity prices really drive both the fundamentals growing within the business, but then also externally more investor demand in businesses like VOX.
Yeah, no, that's very unique. So where's the best place for investors to find out more information on the company, and where should they go?
So voxroyalty.com, that's the website. And then ir@voxroyalty.com as well is our investor relations email. I'm on there all the time. If there's additional questions that your audience would like to ask, always pleased to be engaging with our investors and potential investors. And then we're on the typical social media channels as well.
Great, Kyle. Well, it was a pleasure to have you back on. I look forward to covering your progress. We've covered the company for a while and watched you guys execute. So best of luck this year, and excited to have you back on in the future.
Likewise. Thanks, Aaron. Always a privilege.
If you like these videos, kindly hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. Drop us a comment down below. We'd love to hear from you. And finally, always remember, Departures Capital is for information, education, and entertainment purposes only. Don't buy or sell a stock because you heard it on here. Buy or sell a stock because you've done your research, you've done your thorough due diligence, and you're making your own personal investment decisions for yourself. This video is not financial advice. Furthermore, this video may or may not have been sponsored by the companies that we've profiled within this video, and we may or may not own shares of any of the profiled companies in this video. If you want to know the full disclosure details, check the description down below along with thoroughly reading our disclaimer. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I look forward to seeing you in our next video.